Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love. Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey guys, today I'm going to discuss the summary of the chapter 2 and some activities. Chapter 2. Configure a network operating. Every computer requires an operating system to function, including computer-based network devices such as switches, router, access points, and firewall. This network device uses an operating system called the network operating system. Next is the purpose of the OS. The first is use a mouse to make selection and run programs. Next is enter text and text based command. The third is view output on a monitor. Access method. Um, Even though a Cisco switch with function immediately, configuration initial settings are a recommended best practice. These are several ways to access the CLI environment and configure the device. The most common method are the first is console. What is console? Console is a physical management port that device out-of-band access to a Cisco device. Out-of-band access refers to access by a dedicated management channel that is used for device maintenance purposes only. The second is Secure Shell or SSH. SSH is a method for remotely establishing a secure CLI connection through a virtual interface over a network. Unlike a console connection, SSH connection require active network services on the device including an active interface configured with an address. Third is the telnet. Telnet is an insecure method of remotely establishing a CLI session through a virtual interface over a network. Third is primary command modes. Primary command modes is a security feature. The Cisco IOS software separates management access into the following two commands modes. The first is user exec mode. This mode has limited capabilities but is useful for basic operation. It is allow only a limited number of basic monitoring commands but does not allow the execution of any commands that might challenge the configuration of the device. The user exec mode is identified by the CLI prompt that ends with a greater than symbol. The second is privilege exec mode. Privilege exec mode is to execute configuration command. A network administrator must access privilege exec mode. Higher configuration mode like global configuration mode can only be reached from privilege mode. The privilege mode can be identified by the prompt ending with the number sign symbol. Next is the device name. Device name is when configuration a networking device on the first step is configuring a unique device name or host name. Host name that appears in CLI prompt can be used in various authentication processes between devices and should be used on topology diagram. If the device name is not explicitly configured, a factory assigned default name is used by the Cisco IOS. That default name for Cisco IOS. Switch is switch if all network devices were left with their default name. It would be difficulty to identify a specific device. The second is encrypt password. Encrypt password is the Sa startup configuration and the running configuration, files display most password in plain text. This is a security threat since anyone can see the password used if they have access to this file. Third is the banner. How to insert banner. To create a banner message of the day on network device, use the banner MOTD number sign. The message of the day number sign global config command. The number sign symbol is the command syntax is called the delimiting character. It is entered before and after the message. The delimiting character can be any character as long as it does not occur in the message. Second is save. Save the running configuration file. Have two system files that store the device configuration. The first is startup configuration. The file stored is non-volatile random access memory or NVRAM that contains all the commands will be used by the device upon startup or reboot. NVRAM does not lose its content when device is powered off. Running configuration. The file is stored in the random accessory memory or what we call RAM that reflects the current configuration. Modifying is a running configuration affects the operation of a Cisco device immediately. RAM is volatile memory. It loses all of its content when the device is powered off and restarted. So, after we discussing the chapter 2 summary, we go to do the some activities. This is the first activity. Activity access methods. The instruction is select the most appropriate access method for each scenario. Number 1 is you are in the equipment room with a new switch that need to be configured. The answer of the number 1 is console. Your manager gives you a special cable and tells you to use it configure the switch. Console. You can access the iOS by using another intermediary device over a network connection. That is Telnet or SSH or secure. Number 4 is you can call your manager to tell him you cannot access your router in another city over the internet. He provides you with the information to access the router through a telephone connection. I think is AUX. So let's check. Okay, correct. The second activity is about in the packet tracer. This activity name is activity access method. So we're done in this activity. Second activity is this. This is the limit access to a switch. Use a syntax checker in the figure to practice that command that limits access to a switch. This is encrypt all password, secure the privilege access, secure the console access, secure the VTY access. The first is we type the service password encryption. Next is enable secret. X. It's correct. Next is line console 0. After that, we're gonna type the password. Password is Cisco login. The second instruction is allow login. So, you can type the login. What? Password Cisco. Okay. Zero 15. Password Cisco login. Okay, that's correct. You have successfully limited access to a switch. So, that's all in the chapter 2 discussing the summary and the some activities. So, I will continue the chapter 3. To subscribe, so click the notification bell and subscribe.